Oh, hi everybody, it's Jackie back for part 8 of this altered bag with tags craft with me tutorial. I was hoping this would be the last one, but I think it might end up being an 8AB, possibly C, because I've got a couple to show you that I've completed, and we're going to make 3 more items to go in our bag. Is it 3? Yes, 3 more. On camera. So first I'm going to show you my hanging tag. I'm not going to do this on camera because this is very definitely Tracy Fox's original tutorial and idea, and this is pretty much how she did it herself. Obviously different papers. She used a T card. I'm using the Artymaze Nature Walk kit, as you know, so I've made my own T card-ish from one of the tickets on the kit. I've used a bird because we've got a bird on the front, and I do like to sort of repeat motifs. The kit has lots and lots of animal ephemera in it and pages, and it's absolutely gorgeous. But I've mainly stuck to the florals this time, and as I say, the odd bird. So Tracy is linked below, so go and have a look at her tutorial. And then I've cut out one of the journal cards. I've mounted it on some plain ivory card. I've rounded all the corners, cut it down a little bit, rounded the corners, and just turned it into a journal card that you could put in a pocket or something like that. This is a little crocheted flower. We've got a bee here, and I managed to find in my stash a little bee brad, and I've mounted that onto some more paper from the digital kit, from the Nature Walk kit. So you've got a journal card, so those will be going in the bag. Done the same with this one, cut it out, rounded the corners, glued it onto ivory cardstock. I haven't backed this one. I will do because I've got bits of glue on the back of it. We probably won't do that on camera because obviously that's just glue over the back, stick it down, cut round, and then ink it. On this one, I'm not over keen on these abrupt endings, so all I'm going to do to dress this one up is add a little bit of trim. It's a little bit of sari silk, and we'll do this with Fabri-Tac. So that's the first bit, and I just want this to be towards the bottom of the card. So in a way, I mean, I wouldn't like to call this a mistake. It's Andrea's kit and it's absolutely fine. I just wasn't, as I say, mad keen on the way that ends there. So I'm going to add a little bit, an offcut of lace. I've actually trimmed this off a wider bit at some point. Let's just get rid of those. So we'll go across the top here with a thin bead of glue-ish, as thin as I can get it anyway. And just put that down there. So that's that one, and then where it ends here, I'm going to use one of these stickers, small talk stickers from Tim Holtz, and I just want to age it a little bit, so I'm just going round with the Distress Walnut Stain Distress ink. And as I said before, I would almost always put a bit of glue on these just to help them stay stuck. Normally it would be tacky glue, but as I've got this to hand, we'll put this one down. And I'm just going to put that along that leaf edge there, just to disguise it a little bit. Cut these ends off. there we have another journal card that you can obviously use in your journals. Okay, so let's have a go at this one. This is a glassine bag that I've inked, but I've used the archival ink because this is a slightly glossy surface, it stays better. I've also run this through my embossing machine, through my Big Shot, and embossed it, and then I've flattened it as well because I didn't want it overly embossed, so that just means I've run it through the embossing folder, and then I've run it through without the embossing folder just to flatten that down a little bit. And I'm going to decorate this with another of the journal cards that I've cut down. I've inked the edges, and then I've glued it and stitched it onto this book page. Just check the time. And I'm just going to show you how I tear it. I'm going to use the edge of my ruler, so I'm about 1/4 of an inch-ish. Now some people, I think, have got rulers with fancy edges and things which would look really nice, but I haven't got one, so we're just going to do it this way. You still get slightly distressed edge, but you could just cut this and it would still look really nice. So entirely up to you. Bits. Had to come up and have a good tidy up last night. This right side of the desk was covered, piled up with bits of paper, bits from the kit, bottles of glue, glue sticks, all that sort of stuff. So this is going to go on here, or maybe it's going to go that way. I think we'll have it that way because I want to decorate the bottom like this, and I'm going to do that with my Fabri-Tac, and that way, if I do it this way, I get more of the embossing showing. I did have this because I did wonder whether to put a little bit of blue on the edge. Maybe that would look cool. What do you think? Just a little bit here. Again, that's going to hide the embossing, but you have to balance things. Yeah, quite like that, so I think we'll do that. Just going to shorten this piece a little bit. Okay, and ink the edges of these. And again, because I'm going to be sticking it to a glossy surface, I'm going to stick to the Fabri-Tac for this one. I don't actually know for sure that this glue will work, but I think it will. That's that one. So hopefully we'll get this one finished, and then I can do the last one on a different video. And then we're going to put that on. So we've still got some of the embossing. So let's go around with this. To thank you all for watching, and there's been a few comments on this which have been quite positive, so I really enjoy tutorials. I used to make mini albums. I think some of you will probably know that, especially if you've been back down my timeline on YouTube. And there are quite a few tutorials on there. I used to call them how-tos in those days. So I have been paper crafting for a long time, and would consider myself fairly experienced. Having said that, there's always so much to learn, which is what I love about it, or new ideas, new inspiration, all that sort of stuff. It's brilliant. And that should be another thank you really to everybody who shares really generously their knowledge and their skills. So that's coming through. The glue is just feeding through that a little bit, so I'm trying to just put very little on. So we've got some lace, some seam binding there, and some sari silk, obviously picking up the colours. The blue on there is nice because it's a nice contrast, and it's also in the rest of the bag, really, the items in the bag. I wasn't sure about the pink. I mean, the pink is part of the kit, as is the orange and blue, but I think as long as you mix it carefully, maybe not mix it together too much, it does all work together. I still get a bit stuck on colours sometimes. I enjoy using colour and I enjoy matching it, but I do quite often just go back to this basic colour wheel. We could have a bit of yellow in here. We've got pink, blue and green. You could have this blue and yellow. I think sometimes when you're mixing colours it's about the amounts of well, and just that little touch of blue really works on there. So that's a little envelope that you could clip around the edge of a page and would look really pretty. So I'm going to finish this video here. I'm going to come back and do our last item, and then we'll have a quick look at everything we've got, and I'll tell you what I like and don't like. So see you shortly.